Welcome back to Anfield Vibes, your go-to spot for all things Liverpool FC. Today, we're breaking down the aftermath of that painful loss to Manchester United, Arne Slot's frank post-match comments, a stern warning from Jamie Carragher, new injury concerns, and a deeper dive into what's happening with Mo Salah's recent form. Buckle up, Reds. Big changes may be on the horizon at Anfield. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay in the loop with every twist and turn of the transfer season. What Liverpool experienced at full time should signal the need for real change, as Slot's issues become increasingly clear. Paul Gorst delivers his take from Anfield, where Liverpool fell 2-1 to Manchester United, marking a fourth defeat in a row. If 3 straight losses before the international break felt like a rough patch, watching United's players celebrate. Their first win at Anfield in 9 years drove home that. This is now a full-blown crisis. This is the same United squad that hadn't managed back-to-back victories under Ruben Amorim since his arrival 11 months ago before this 2-1 result. They've spent the last year stumbling through failures, showing little sign of the quality expected at a club of their stature. At times, they've been the league's punchline, especially after finishing as low as 15th not long ago. Yet, on a chilly mid-October afternoon, United cast off their label as a laughingstock and left Anfield with a potentially era-defining victory. For Slot, that context is irrelevant. But staring down a fourth consecutive loss is undeniably alarming. The Liverpool manager appeared calm during Friday's presser, returning from a short break in Dubai, emphasizing that elite players maintain composure no matter the results. It's that mentality that helped keep the squad laser-focused during last season's title run. Internally, there's been no sign that anyone's panicking over the current poor form. But maybe now it's time they show some visible frustration. Seeing the sting of 4 straight losses on their faces wouldn't be a bad thing. It might show there's still urgency to turn things around before their title hopes disappear entirely. Unfortunately, the looming trip to Frankfurt in the Champions League interrupts what could have been a deep internal review for Slot and his team. They'd likely prefer to sift through the wreckage and pinpoint what's going wrong. This marks the first time in 11 years that the Reds have dropped 4 in a row, and in 7 of 12 games this season, including the Community Shield, Liverpool have conceded twice. The control that powered last season's title success has vanished amid a chaotic summer. Yes, Wednesday does offer a chance to respond quickly, but a loss to Manchester United at Anfield stings deeper and longer than most, as it should. It's the first time that's happened since Wayne Rooney's winner for Louis van Gaal's side during Klopp's early days. Liverpool have largely owned this fixture in the years since, but this time they had to take their medicine. United's opener came in under 2 minutes. Virgil van Dijk, distracted by a collision between Alexis Mac Allister and Bryan Mbeumo, who took an elbow to the head, was caught out of position, allowing the forward to drift into the box and beat Gorgi Mardashi, who arguably should have done better. It was United's first shot on target, and another example of how easily Liverpool are conceding. Opponents aren't having to work hard to score. Even as Mac Allister was on the ground after the clash, referee Michael Oliver let play continue, leading directly to the goal. It was a forgettable moment for an official often praised as England's best. Still, blaming the result solely on officiating would be disingenuous. Too many familiar issues plagued Liverpool's performance. Mo Salah again failed to show anything close to his electrifying form from a year ago, and his ongoing slump is now a serious concern. Milos Kerkez is clearly struggling and could use a break from the starting 18. Mac Allister looks far from the dazzling presence he was expected to be. And they're not alone. Several others are below par. Florian Wirtz brought energy and invention off the bench, linking up with fellow substitute Federico Chiesa to tee up Cody Gakpo, who struck the woodwork 3 times as Liverpool pressed for an equalizer in the final 10 minutes. But Slot's all-in tactics when trailing continue to backfire. In league defeats to Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and now United, late opposition goals have snatched the points. Slot's tendency to overload the attack in pursuit of an equalizer often leaves the team defensively exposed. In some ways, it's admirable, a sign of faith in his players' ability to come back. After comeback wins over Bournemouth, Arsenal, Newcastle, and Burnley, it's not surprising Slot chooses to go for the kill. But lately, those late goals have been going the other way. United's second, where 3 players queued up at the back post, was the final blow. Harry Maguire obliged, and Amorim had his statement win. Arne Slot didn't hide from the truth post-match. He admitted he's up against one of the biggest challenges of his managerial career, tasked with reversing a worrying slide that now includes 4 straight defeats after Sunday's 2-1 home loss to Manchester United. After Gakpo had leveled the score following Mbeumo's early goal, it was Maguire who sealed United's win in the 84th minute, Liverpool's 4th consecutive loss after defeats to Palace, Galatasaray, and Chelsea. This is the first time the Reds have lost 4 on the bounce since 2014, and the worst run of Slot's tenure, something he admits must change, starting with Wednesday's Champions League trip to Frankfurt. As a manager, challenges are constant, he said. When you're new, you're under pressure to win. When you move to a bigger club, people wonder if you can handle it. Taking over from Klopp was said to be my biggest challenge. Now, losing 4 in a row, that's another. Slot insists he hasn't seen signs of a confidence dip. In every loss, we've created a huge number of chances in the second half. If you watch all the highlights from our 3 Premier League defeats, you'd question how we didn't win at least one. If we keep doing what we're doing and improve a bit, we'll get back to winning. But I can't promise we'll create 8, 9, or 10 chances again on Wednesday. I hope so. With our players, I expect us to score more. Aside from the 2 goals conceded, we maybe gave away 2 or 3 other chances. But when you're trailing 1-0, you need to take more risks. I think we had 6 or 7 attacking players on the field after 55 minutes. Slot added that defending set pieces has suffered because of this overload. Usually we'd have 4 to 6 defensive-minded players. In those final stages, we had 7 or 8 attackers. That's not an excuse. They should do better. But maybe that explains why we conceded from a set piece again, like we did against Palace and now United. Jamie Carragher, speaking on Sky Sports, highlighted Liverpool's defensive struggles as a major concern. If Liverpool don't sort out their back line, they won't keep up with Arsenal or Man City, Carragher warned. Even at this stage of the season, he says the Reds must improve at the back to stay competitive. Slot acknowledged that Liverpool had enough chances to win the game, but also admitted their set-piece defending must improve. Carragher noted that some of Liverpool's signings, especially the fullbacks, lack physical presence. Set-piece-wise, is this team big enough? It doesn't look like it. They're not dealing with the Premier League's physical demands. Carragher stressed that this isn't just one issue, it's multiple. Some of their best performers from last season haven't hit those heights. They looked untouchable last year. Now they've lost 4 in a row. It reminds me of City last year, suddenly beatable. Liverpool must snap out of this quickly. I don't think we'll see the real Liverpool again until the second half of the season. He also criticized the mindset. At times, Liverpool don't seem to want to do the dirty work. They're a better team than United, but United got a bit of luck and ground out the result. Until Liverpool sort out their defense, they won't win the league. Slot's side has now suffered 4 straight defeats, 3 in the league, Palace, Chelsea, United, and 1 in Europe, Galatasaray. The second big issue is that from all our chances, we only scored once, Slot said post-match. I've said this in Holland and probably here too. You rarely win big games with a negative set-piece balance. Liverpool versus United is a huge match full of quality, and we conceded another goal from a set piece, which cost us the result. There was also more bad news on the injury front. Slot confirmed Ryan Gravenberch twisted his ankle during Sunday's match and is now a doubt for the trip to Frankfurt. The Dutch midfielder tried to carry on after colliding with Bryan and Mbeumo, but had to be subbed off for Curtis Jones. He'll undergo scans before a final decision is made on his availability. Yes, Ryan twisted his